The number one way to keep your mind sharp is something that most people completely overlook, and it's not a supplement in a bottle. We've worried about our brains for as long as I can remember. Even as teenagers, we had the "this is your brain on drugs," a noble attempt to scare us straight using a frying pan. Now we're all grown up and we're worried about microplastics and blue light and whether or not our cell phones are secretly melting our frontal lobes. But there is one thing that's the most powerful thing you can do to keep your mind sharp, and chances are you are underestimating.
Healthy isn't just what you do, it's who you become. I'm Dr. Vickie, and this is Healthy Looks Great on You, a lifestyle medicine podcast to help you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your well-being. Life tested, doctor approved.
The impact of lifestyle on brain health is finally getting the attention it deserves, and with good reason. This matters more than ever because right now over 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. And that number is expected to double by 2050 as the population ages. Dementia isn't rare. It's becoming common. Some risk factors are genetic and some are environmental and some, and this is the important part, are modifiable. The bottom line is you can't control your genes, but you can control a whole lot of how your brain ages. And when it comes to brain performance, lifestyle medicine is hands down your most powerful tool. But even if you're doing all 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, you still might be missing the most important piece. And it's definitely not Prevagen. Can I just say that louder for the people in the back? If you listen carefully to the commercials, they don't even claim it works. Their biggest selling point is that they sell a lot of it. And there's a reason for that. And if you want the deep dive, listen to my episodes on supplements, aluminum, and dementia myths. I put a link in the show notes. It's no secret that lifestyle has a profound impact on cognitive health, but a recent study added even more weight. Let's head to mini medical school for a moment to look at the U.S. Pointer study, which was funded by the Alzheimer's Association, and they followed 2,000 older adults over 2 years. And many of them actually had an increased genetic risk for Alzheimer's. Here's the headline. Even people with genetic risk showed improved thinking and memory when they followed structured lifestyle interventions. And what were those interventions? I'm glad you asked. Physical activity, nutrition, cognitive challenges, social engagement, and health monitoring. You know, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar. There is a downloadable PDF on the webpage for this episode that outlines their full recipe for brain health, and I highly recommend taking a look. Or you can just stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it right after a short break. Hey there, if you're wondering what all that bubbling is, it's the Healthy Looks Great on You lab. And you can listen to podcasts, read books, and know all of the health tips out there. But unless you do something, nothing is going to change. That's why I created the Healthy Looks Great on You lab. This is where you take the information you know and put it into practice. And we do it together in a private Facebook community. The lab is where the magic happens, but it's not magic. It's slow, steady, consistent changes that make a big impact. Not a quick fix, but a lasting fix. In February, we're going to be talking about brain health and cravings. You do not want to miss this private community of women who are cheering each other on in Healthy Looks Great on You, the lab. Just go to my website, healthylooksgreatonyou.com, the lab, and you can sign up. In February, we're going to talk about breaking free from sugar and cravings. The U.S. Pointer study strengthened what we already knew, and memory specialists have been saying this for years. What keeps your heart healthy also protects your brain. We now have some medications that can modestly slow cognitive decline. Some are pills, some are infusions, but they work best on top of a healthy lifestyle, not instead of it. So let's break this down using the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, and then I'll tell you what most people still miss. Number one is physical activity. The brain loves movement. The recommendation for brain health is 30 to 35 minutes of moderate to vigorous aerobic activity at least 4 days a week, plus strength and flexibility training twice weekly. Why? Well, exercise increases blood flow to the brain, improves insulin sensitivity, and stimulates BDNF, which is brain derived neurotropic factor. Think of BDNF as miracle grow for neurons. And yes, if you're not at least a little bit out of breath when you're exercising, then it's not moderate. You can be able to talk, but you shouldn't be able to sing. And if you're huffing and puffing, then congratulations, your brain is thrilled. Number two is nutrition. No surprise there, but specifics matter. The MIND diet, that's MIND, is a marriage of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet, which was originally designed to treat high blood pressure. And the MIND diet is associated with up to a 30 to 50% lower risk of Alzheimer's disease in observational studies. The stars of the MIND diet are dark leafy green vegetables, berries, especially blueberries, nuts and seeds and whole grains and olive oil, and limit added sugar, saturated fat, and ultra-processed foods. This way of eating reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, which are two major drivers of brain aging. The third pillar we'll look at is sleep, and sleep actually wasn't emphasized in the Pointer study, but neuroscience has been shouting about it for years. During deep sleep, your brain activates the glymphatic system, which is basically the brain's dishwasher, cleaning out waste proteins like beta amyloid. Poor sleep doesn't just cause brain fog tomorrow. Over time, it increases dementia risk. Number four is harmful substances, also not highlighted in this study, but very well established that smoking, excess alcohol, chronic exposure to air pollution, all of those things increase oxidative stress and damage blood vessels in the brain. And your brain is an oxygen-hungry organ, so anything that impairs circulation matters. Number five is stress. This one wasn't mentioned either, but we know chronic stress keeps cortisol levels elevated, and that can shrink the hippocampus, which is the brain's memory center. But here's the key takeaway. Don't panic over normal forgetfulness. Stress about memory actually makes memory worse. Number six is social connection. Loneliness is now considered a major risk factor for cognitive decline comparable to smoking or obesity. Humans are just wired for connection. And conversation and laughter and shared experiences all stimulate complex brain networks. Health maintenance matters too. This study emphasized keeping blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, weight, all in healthy ranges. Your brain depends on healthy blood vessels. Heart health and brain health are correlated. But right after a short break, I'll tell you the most overlooked ingredient for maintaining mental sharpness. Here's the part that most people miss: cognitive exercise. Yes, use it or lose it is true, but not all brain use is equal. Puzzles and reading and crossworks, they're all great, but if you only do what you're already really good at, then you're not training your brain to do new things. And your brain changes when it's challenged, not when it's comfortable. So learning something new and hard and slightly frustrating is what builds new neural connections. And that's why I love apps like Lumosity. Not because I get paid, because I don't, but because they track progress and they expose weaknesses. All right, time for a little true reveal. I am great at word games. In fact, according to Lumosity, I'm in the top 5% in the world at word snatchers. But math, below the 50th percentile. And I hate it, which means that is exactly what I should be practicing. That's also why I enrolled in a free Harvard online course called Einstein. I'm going to learn about the theory of relativity, and I'll keep you posted. But if you want a sharp mind, then move your body, feed your brain, sleep deeply, stay connected, manage stress, and control your cardiovascular risk. But most importantly, keep learning things that are hard. Your brain is not a muscle, but that doesn't mean you can't exercise it. Look at it this way. Say you're a rocket scientist and you know all about launching rockets to Mars. You've got an extensive education and years of experience in the lab, and rockets have just become second nature in your brain. Your brain is literally full of rocket science. Now, if you keep doing what you're very proficient at doing and you aren't challenging your brain to do new things, well, you can be a rocket scientist and still suffer from cognitive decline. So, what are you good at? Cooking? Quilting? Wordle? Other games? Here's the deal. If you're good at it, then you're not training your brain to do new things. And that is the most overlooked secret to staying mentally sharp. I want to do everything I can to keep my mind sharp and my body healthy. And I want you to be healthy too, because healthy looks great on you. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would love to stay connected. Just head on over to my website, healthylooksgreatonyou.com, and you can sign up to get my newsletter in your inbox every week. You can also follow me on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you would, leave a review while you're there. It helps spread the word.
The information contained in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not considered to be a substitute for medical advice. You should continue to follow up with your physician or healthcare provider and take medication as prescribed. Though the information in this podcast is evidence-based, new research may develop and recommendations may change.